Hello everybody, this is Julie K with another junk journal share. In this junk journal I made for me, my husband and I are going on a trip later this year to Costa Rica for birding. We're going to look for lots of different birds, and this picture on here is actually one of the birds that we're hoping to find. It's called a quetzal, and I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but it's a really bright colored bird. And I did end up finding this image off of Google just by Googling the quetzal bird and looking up vintage, so it's an older copyright-free image of the bird. I did make the cover out of a manila file folder, and the notebook measures roughly, or the journal measures 5 wide by 9 tall. And I used trim on the side to cover up. I did a pamphlet stitch using wax thread. The trim, this was burlap trim with some crochet trim over it. And here, and the trim I did buy from Hobby Lobby. And it was on sale, I believe 50% off when I bought it a few weeks ago. So I got a pretty good deal, and I got a lot left. And what was kind of nice about this burlap trim is it was, it's really easy to take off the crochet part off of it. So then you can also just use the 2 pieces separate, which was nice for another project I was working on. So I found that to be quite versatile. And then as far as the pamphlet stitch and the thread that I used it's wax thread. I bought it at Michael's. It says Art Minds up here. It is kind of thick, so it was kind of a bugger trying to get it through the pages. So next time I might use something a little bit thinner. And the other thing that I did different this time too, when I was doing the pamphlet stitch, instead of making my holes on my pages with the needle, I have a tool that's called a Japanese screw punch. And I bought it, or a friend bought it for me probably about 20 years ago. But what's kind of nice about it is it has this really small tip, and you just punch holes wherever you want, like this on the piece of paper. But the tip you can take off. And it comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. So for this one I use this really, really small. It says 1 millimeter. But it worked really good, and it went so much faster than punching it with a needle, punching all the holes on the paper. Let's see, now back to the book. I already told you I found the image off of Google Documents. I did paint my manila folder with green paint and layered up a piece of map paper, scrapbooking paper that I got from a friend of mine. I did title it Costa Rica and put it in a metal frame that I've had for a long time, so I'm not quite sure where these came from. I typed up the word Costa Rica on my computer on coffee dyed paper, and then I did put glossy accents inside of it, so it's pretty much level right there. And then I don't know if you can see or not, but I did do some stenciling with clear paste, and then that was a Prima stencil, kind of a crackle background. On the back side I have this really cute little stamp that came from Cat's Life Press, and it just says handmade book, and then I was able to put my name, and so that was kind of cute, I thought. Otherwise I left the back pretty plain. I used eyelets to attach the elastic fastener, and used a Tim Holtz hitch, I think is what they're called, to attach it. And then I did leave my strings. I did my pamphlet stitch so that my strings were at the bottom of the page, and so I beaded them, and I also tied in a little charm of a bird, and I bought this off of the clearance rack at Michael's. I thought that was kind of cute. So to open it, you just take the hitch off, the elastic off of the hitch. It's really chunky too, by the way. And it ended up being really chunky because I did some paper clips. So before we go on our trip, I think I might take out the altered paper clips to flatten it out a little bit for traveling. So for the first page, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I just put some of that burlap trim that I took off the crocheted part of it. Otherwise I left it blank. This green piece of paper came from, I think it's pronounced Kaiser Craft. It's a really old collection and I just had one sheet left. So I used that. I did use digital downloads for everything else that's in here from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And I used the Summer's End journal kit, the Traveler's Notebook Planner inserts, and also Debbie Ann from Ephemera's Vintage Garden on her blog had given out a freebie that matched the kit of index cards, so I did use those. So here's part of the kit that it was from a bigger sheet, and I ended up just using a circle die cut to cut out the image of the bird and layered it on. This is a Spellbinders die. And then I coffee dyed some doilies, a tag from the kit, and I just used some old vintage lace that I had in my collection. So you can tuck something behind there or else in between. I did at the top do some stamping. So there's an image of a bird. I did a lot of quotes about nature and birds. This one says, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." And it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And this stamp came from Stampscapes. Kevin has a really nice line of some nature quotes. When I turn the page, this is part of the insert of the printables. And I added the little bird and some banners. This too is part of the kit from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I added a banner up here that says Explore, and I also stamped the word Journey down at the bottom. And in all these pages throughout the book, I did add some more writing space with tabs that I made out of extra parts of the paper from when I punched these out. There was lots of paper left, so I punched out tags, and that's this comes a punch from McGill. I did want lots of lined paper and stuff. Like I said before, we are going on this trip for birding. Both my husband and I really like birds, and he does wildlife photography. So I wanted to be able to write the list of all the birds that we see. Costa Rica has close to 900 birds. I think it's like 894 species. That's possible to be seen. I doubt we'll see that many, but we're hoping to see a lot. So I just wanted lots of space, and I'm hoping in each of these pockets to start the list of all the birds that we see. So when I turn the page on the back side of the pocket, I just stamped the word reflect. Oh, I might try and zoom in a little bit here and see if it's a little bit easier to see stuff. But I guess you can't see the whole page, so I'll just hold it up. Here's a piece of coffee dyed graph paper, and this was actually kind of junky paper. My dad had saved a whole bunch of pads of graph paper from an old office building where he worked, where the guys above him, architects, were retiring and just getting rid of stuff. So I just cut off. They had, on one side, they had their logo and their information, so I just cut it off before I tea dyed everything. On this page, I added some washi. Here's one of the blog freebies from Ephemera's Vintage Garden of the little index cards that she has. And then part of the kit, I added the bird. It's a die cut, and on the back side I did print the grid from the kit and stamped a little bird at the bottom. I did use a lot of bird die cuts throughout the book, and I did pull some of the dies that I used from a couple different companies. First one is that I used. This one comes from Poppy Stamps. It's just a cute little bird. Then I have a set of birds. This one comes from Memory Box. And then another set of birds. And this one is, I buy it off of Frantic Stamper. And she has some of her own dies that she has a company make. And I just really like this one because it had the really tiny hummingbird on there. And Costa Rica has lots of hummingbirds. Turn the page and just left it pretty much as is. I added the little hummingbird up there and I stamped the word dream on the banner. Throughout the book I have lots of banners that I made, or no, I didn't make these ones, but they came from a Tim Holtz die, and some of them I did leave open so I could use them as tuck spots, and others I just glued down. A couple pages of coffee dyed paper, and I stamped the image of the hummingbird. And I can't remember offhand who that one's from, but if anyone sees any stamps, images in here that I don't say where they come from, just leave me a comment and I will look it up for you, because most of them I should know. On the back side, I did put another quote. This one says, "Life is not measured by the breaths that we take, but by the moments that take our breath away." I did do a die punch on this, or a punch on the side of that paper. Another part of the kit with a tag that I ended up making into a tuck spot. And another part of the kit. So the next page is one of those little altered paper clips that I used with some different trims and lace and stuff, and the little image in the middle is a little bird, and it came from K & Company. That little image is a whole sheet of little round stickers, I guess. Okay, another pocket on the side, and again I added a banner with a bird and stamped the words "Discover New Worlds." The back side, it said I stamped the word "Travel Light" and "Journey" on the banner. Some more of that graph paper. It kind of keeps on repeating itself. Another banner up here with a bird. Turn the page. Another tuck spot with the index card, and I did add words to the little index card. That one says "Learn and Explore," and I put the little bird die cut down at the bottom. Next page, I stamped a little image. This is a nuthatch. And I left these blank. I might go back and stamp some more. I'm just kind of waiting to see after our trip how much I write and what I do. I can also glue them together and make it into a pocket if need be, if I have a lot of different ephemera or things I want to keep from our trip. So I kind of left these pages open so that I could finish them and do something later. Another quote, it says, "Be like the bird that pausing in her flight," I have to turn it around, sorry. "Be like the bird that pausing in her flight, a while on boughs too slight, feels them give away beneath her, and yet sings knowing that she has wings." And that quote was from Victor Hugo. On the next page, I just did another little of the tags that came from the kit, made a pocket. Used another one of those stickers from K & Company, stamped the word "Explore" on a little banner. Did a bird, and this was a Tim Holtz Sizzix die, I believe. Another quote says, "A bird does not sing because it has an answer, it sings because it has a song." And another little die cut. This was some of the coffee dyed paper that I cut out with the spell binders and stamped on it. Just another blank spot for writing and some banners with a bird on top. Pocket page. And I stamped the words "Explore, Dream, Discover" at the bottom. Again, it was blank, and one side's lined and the other side's grid, from Ephemera's Vintage Garden Kit. Back side, I stamped the word "Seek and Discover." Some more graph paper. Another part of the kit, and I just put some washi tape at the top. Index card again, I added stamping that says "Enjoy" and the little bird. Another little piece from the kit. Banners at the top of the page, and I use that little hummingbird image that I think is so cute. On the next page, I just stamped on the top of the coffee dyed paper. It says, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience," and that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I know that one's a Stampscape stamp, again, by Kevin. Another altered paper clip that I made with one of the bird tags underneath it. I just love this kit with all the birds and the bright colors, but yet it still has a vintage feel even though it's quite bright. Those are blank. Stamped another little image of a bird sitting on some garden pots, and there's a little snail coming up from it. It's kind of cute. This one, it says, "In every walk with nature, one receives more than he seeks," by John Muir. Another tag with a tuck spot, and I did put some rosette trim down at the bottom of that page. Okay, now on this middle page, which you can actually see I didn't cover my pamphlet stitch, but you can see my stuff in the middle. And these ones I did not glue down. I left them open for tuck spots on the journal paper. And then I also added from the kit, they had calendar pages that I folded over. And I did leave them as pockets when I folded them over, so I can stick something in there if I want to. But we wanted, my husband and I wanted a spot, and I added the die cuts, but we wanted a spot to write each day where we're at, because we're going to a few different preserves and parks where we're most likely to see birds. We wanted each day to be able to write it specifically where we were, just to help both of us know, and then my husband too, for his photography, to know which days we were where. So when you turn it over, I made a tuck spot with a tag and stuck another tag, and it's actually a double tuck spot. Another piece of the paper that I cut up to use after I cut out the bird image. Tried not to waste any paper. I just put some journaling paper in this bottom tuck spot behind it. Another altered paper clip. This one has a little egg on it. Another piece from the kit. And then this quote says, "When one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world." And that's another John Muir quote. And I just stuck a piece of the ephemera on the back side. Some more quotes. It says, "New beauty meets us at every step in all our wanderings." Another John Muir quote. Another tag that I stuck into the index cards. Or the Rolodex cards, maybe, is what they should be called. Just some more journaling paper that I stuck in a tuck spot. The graph paper. Another pocket. I did stamp again at the top. It says, "Look up." So it was a pocket. Looks the same as the other ones. I added on the back side a bird, and then the same uncharted territory. I figure if I need lots of writing space, I can also kind of write down these lines too. Another altered paper clip, and again another egg. Bird egg. This one, there's a tuck spot right here. And then I made a bookmark up here that I just stamped a little bird on both sides. And I believe that stamp came from Memory Box. It was a set of 3 birds. They were cute. Stamped a little egg, bird egg at the bottom. And then on the back side I had another image of a hummingbird, so I stamped that. And then the Rolodex cards, I just added a tag and added some washi at the top again. Banners with a bird. Another pocket. Side pocket. So stamped the word "seek and find." Here, this was a word from the kit. It says "remember." And then I did stamp the word "go out and play" at the bottom. Put another banner with the word dream on it. Then here I have a tuck spot. This word so beautiful came from the kit that I cut out, fussy cut out. At the top it says, oh happy day, and then I doodled around it a little bit. And this one actually is a flip out. I stamped some more birds and have another tuck spot, and then there's still lots of space for journaling. Stamped a bird, the same punch again. I stamped a bird on the back, that's a meadowlark, the North Dakota state bird. Let's see, another little bird punch or die cut with the banners. Turn the page, another tuck spot. Another altered paper clip. And that one's just a nest with eggs in it. I'm not sure if that shows up very well. I did leave this banner open, so I do have a tuck spot here if I want it. I did stamp the word imagine on that one. Again, the pocket just attached a ephemera, and then on the back side of that other altered paper clip, this just says wonder. Stamp the word discover down there. On this side, again, there's a tuck spot. Like I said, some of them I glued down, some I didn't. And the last page looks very similar to the very front page. I did a double tuck spot, so there's a tuck, and then some journaling paper. At the top, I did stamp, in wilderness is the preservation of the world, and that's Henry David Thoreau that wrote that one. And like I said, this one I just cut out with a circle die cut, and this was spellbinders, and I just layered it inside. That was part of the kit, one of the birds images that I just love. And again, the cover. So like I said, I think I'm going to take out some of the paper clips before I go on my trip because it's pretty chunky. But thanks for watching, and hope everybody liked it, and give me a thumbs up if you do. Thank you. Bye.